Hey, welcome to episode number 38 of the Stagger Tapes. This week on the Stagger Tapes, coming off a career best season, we have Zack Sokol. Welcome to the podcast.
No, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
It's been, as I mentioned, kind of a breakthrough season for you this year. You made an interesting choice to kind of split your equipment and run a little bit of the North Island and probably a large majority in the South Island this year. Where did that decision kind of come from? Was it kind of based on the not a massive amount of racing happening in the North Island this year, or just kind of the crown jewels that seem to be coming up in the South Island?
Yeah, a little bit of both, I think. Like it kind of started off with not much going on up here, or a lot of uncertainty, I guess you'd say. And then we sort of looked at what it would, like how it sort of would play out and us going down south and all that sort of stuff. And then with, like Jonathan last year going down quite a lot, Joel being there, like competition just seemed a lot more, like, I guess, better down there. And then with them announcing the USA invasion and all that sort of stuff, it was kind of just like, it's just a whole bunch of little things that kind of led to it. And then when we had Peter Murphy and Jason Scott sort of welcome us down and make it so much easier for us to go down there. So that was kind of a key factor for us, and without them, we couldn't have done it really.
Looking at your stats, I think you did a season review just a few days ago as well, which was cool. So I flipped through those. So 29 races, 25 top five. So very close to 100% top five, which is extremely impressive. 12 top threes, 6 wins, average finishing position 3.5. So, I mean, we run through those, and like those are insane statistics. And you mentioned the level of competition that you were dealing with down there, the likes of the USA invasion. So there was a pretty intense kind of 2 to 3 week period there, and then I think Caleb and stuff came back as well, so it had like excessive competition for a large period of the year, and to carry those stats out, like, you must be stoked looking back at that.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think it's just a testament to the time that our team put into our program, and it's cool to sort of get those results coming through. I think, like, even with our top fives, I think if we finished once outside of the top five. The rest were DNFs of some sort. So yeah, but yeah, no, it was really, really cool to get a season like that, and like you said, it was kind of a breakthrough deal for us. So yeah, it just was a testament to our team and all the time like Dad's put in and all that sort of stuff. Like yeah, it's massive, and just all the laps that we've done sort of paying off, I guess.
What do you think's been kind of the reason, or one of those main contributing factors to you having this kind of breakthrough season? Because like you've always been there or thereabouts, a little bit of inconsistencies here and there, some crashes, things like that in the past. But obviously another year of racing's gone by, and it's been quite a significant step up.
Yeah, I think it's just like I said, laps. Us doing laps and obviously going to the States and other classes and stuff like that, and just consistently getting seat time and all that sort of stuff. Like, I started my career, I guess, kind of late. So for me, catching up on all that sort of stuff has been massive. But yeah, I think that's just sort of the whole thing that sort of come together, and the stuff that, we've obviously learned and picked up on and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'd say laps would be like the biggest thing.
So I've kind of always been a midget guy. I think I said on Brad's podcast, I was saying it's like maybe the last 4 or 5 years I've started to come around. I think I'm almost more of a sprint car guy than a midget guy these days. But we start looking at tracks that we have in New Zealand, and I think like the South Island tracks almost suit sprint car racing a little better than the North Island stuff.
Yeah, I think so.
But barring Bay Park, of course.
Yeah, of course. Bay Park and obviously Western Springs, and I don't know, I like Kiki like massively for sprint cars.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, a lot of South Island tracks do suit sprint car racing. I don't know what it like kind of is about it. Like even like War of the Wings travels quite a lot to all those like different niche kind of tracks and stuff like that. And I don't know if it's just like the guys there also having laps there that it also works so well, or yeah, just always provides good sprint car racing for some reason. Yeah,
it's interesting that when you talk about War of the Wings going to like niche tracks, like you'll see War of the Wings at places like you've got here in your stats, first at Ellesmere, right? Then we've got Blenheim there as well. I don't know if they went this year, but I know they definitely went last year to Greymouth as well. So these are like, they're not the main locations throughout the South Island that you typically see kind of Speedway New Zealand racing and significant series go to. So it's cool to see that, because we preach almost weekly on here that we need like a national midget series, and or a North Island midget series, or just some form of travelling series where we can get out of racing at just Auckland, Bay Park, Kiki. Like we need to go elsewhere.
And the F2s and the TQs do it so well. It's crazy to think like they can do it, but the rest of us, I don't know for what reason, like we can't. Like we've had sprint car stuff, like we've had a couple series, like we've ended up in Gisborne, and like we're supposed to go to Napier, we've been to like Wellington and all that sort of stuff, but for some reason they like never stick. So yeah, it'd be cool to get like a proper traveling series for the sprint car stuff. But yeah, like all those weird little tracks, we kind of called it like the shithole tour. Like it sounds like kind of bad, but like it sort of makes sense when we were there. But like like Blenheim, it provided good racing. It's just like a lot of those tracks shelf off like real bad. Like Blenheim does like a car and a half width off, and it just sort of shelves off. And for sprint cars and stuff, like we can't sort of get up there or do that sort of stuff. So but like we had a blast going there, and when we went to Ellesmere, like everyone's like, oh, it's going to be like slick and real dry and all that stuff, and it was rough. Like when we went there, it was so rough. But for like, I don't like driving on the rough, but for some reason we go decent in the rough, so it's just like you sort of put up with it, and then you go from there.
You say put up with it, and then in here it says first at that event as well. Like it's quite a funny link there. I've raced at Ellesmere, and I don't know if I raced there in a TQ. I don't think I actually did.
I think I raced in quarter midget.
Yeah, I definitely raced in a quarter midget, and then we went back in the midget. And like we've seen it at both ends of the spectrum. Like back before they did all the renovations to the place, it always just used to be like smooth as, but like black to the fence. And then when we went back this time and we were in the midget, I was like so excited, because they did the run in that international series where like Zeb Wise, Tyler Courtney, all of those guys stayed after the New Zealand midget title. And they ran Ellesmere on the Sunday, and it was like black but like pretty much a cushion on the fence, and I was like, oh, I'm so excited. And then it was rough as guts, like exactly what you said. Like I had like 5 laps into the first heat, had like the biggest bicycle I've ever had. Like I was only on my right front going into one, and then like brought it down and stalled by the fence. But even when it's rough, I feel like Ellesmere race is pretty good.
Yeah, it does. It kind of probably got to a point where it was like too much towards the end. Like they actually did call the feature at some point, because of the roughness and because of other things that sort of happened. But it was like during the heat races and sort of stuff, it was like really they can put up with it quite well. I think during the dash it got like proper rough, and it was like sort of hold on. And then the sprint car stuff's like the harder you drive it, the kind of better you are. But then if you catch something wrong when it is that rough, it's just as bad.
Like the consequences are almost bigger. Yeah, it's interesting, man. It's because I know with midgets it was the same. Like if you can just get your wheel speed up and avoid like the sharp tip-ins and things like that, and you can keep the wheels big and keep the wheel speed high, like rough isn't too bad.
No.
Like you can kind of deal with it.
Yeah.
I've never really, because I think I drove a sprint car like twice running Rogers stuff like years and years ago when I was like 16 as well. So like the understanding's not great. But like what are those key things that you focus on at times like that, like when it is starting to get real rough in the sprint car?
I think like exactly like you said, is just keeping that wheel speed up and just not following sort of people, so you can keep that momentum sort of going. And that's kind of really what it was. And then you're obviously a lot more cautious coming up to people and like picking your passes and stuff, because you can sort of see where people are bouncing around and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, but it's just a lot more, I don't know, you say like concentration and just trying not to follow sort of people too much.
When we look through, obviously you finished third in the War of the Wings series. What were kind of your favourite places, or any kind of key memories you have from that season? Because it's a cool tour, man.
Yeah,
really cool.
It's really sick. What they're doing is really, really cool. And like we said, going to, I may have called them shitholes, but like going to those like different sort of places, really cool for people to see sprint car racing that normally wouldn't see them. But yeah, like I enjoyed going to Blenheim, obviously. Nelson was cool. Nelson can race really, really well. Like when we went there last season for the first time, like it was a wicked track then. It was up by
It'd be fast too in a sprint.
and it, like real round, like kind of thing. And then like even when we were this year, like it got like you could sort of run the fence down and run the bottom. Like there's a lot of different lanes and stuff. But yeah, I guess like highlights probably would have been all that invasion stuff, like being a part of the War of the Wings. Like I think when we went to Ruapuna, we were a top Kiwi qualifier both times, and like the pole shuffles and stuff like that. So the first night was rough, the second night was like full slick. So it was like two like completely different sort of things. So yeah, that was a lot of fun and sort of enjoyed that a lot.
That invasion was awesome,
I was just going to say the Americans were even the social media stuff they were doing, like bringing heaps of awareness to it.
Yeah,
so cool,
massive. Like, and that's exactly like what we need here, right? It's just like more eyes on what we're sort of doing, and yeah, it's really cool to have like, especially with Caleb and Tanner both having YouTube sort of scenes, and that full social media presence was like kind of massive for us.
Yeah, and you look at how Tanner's going at the moment as well. It's obviously in a brand new ride. It's taken a little bit of time to kind of get things going, but like a really good run just a couple of nights ago with High Limit as well. And ultimately, like those guys are awesome. Like they're really good. Like people forget how good they are sometimes when people come to New Zealand, and it's like we've been treated. We've said it a lot with regards to midget racing and stuff. And you talk about like Larson and Bell and all of those guys who come down, but we've also had some really good sprint car drivers.
Oh, 100%. Even like when Brady and Temius both came down, like what they've both done also on sprint car racing is still very, very impressive. I think Caleb ran second in a high limit show somewhere on the West Coast before he came over here, and Tanner top qualified the other night with high limit. So they're still really, really good guys, and for guys like Tanner to be on tour, like, and a lot of them being hired drivers, you've got to be pretty good to be get that opportunity. Yeah,
we keep preaching about how we need to make sure that we make our big events big, like make them feel big. And I think that was probably something they did really good at that invasion, is like it felt like such a significant thing. Yeah. And you, like you say, I think that comes down to like a little bit of strategy in terms of who you bring down as well. And bringing down that YouTube.
Yeah, well, Caleb was so funny as well.
They were pumping it. Like they were pumping the content out. And I got a video from Caleb at like, I don't know, it was like 2 or 3 in the morning, and he's like drinking with Bailey Clyde. And I get a video of him and he's like, I used to wax your ass on R Factor.
That's so good.
That's so good, man. You mentioned it before, how you kind of started your career a little bit later than most people. Was the 6-shooter stuff your first speedway stuff?
Yeah, well, it's kind of weird. Like, so when I was a kid, we sort of, like with Dad still racing, I think at the time, we sort of dabbled and thought about the quarter midget sort of route. And then we went, I don't know like too much of the details of it, but I remember those, the 3 orange cars?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did like
the Clarks,
we did like a rent-a-ride day at Rosebank, and I hated it. Like, I was just like not interested at all. It was like, just not really my thing. And then I don't really know what sort of happened. I guess you got a driver's license, and you muck around on the street and be stupid and all that sort of stuff. And I think Dad sort of saw like, you're sort of keen on doing something. So we're sort of dabbling into dirt track racing, because that's sort of what he started off doing. So we went to Waihi Beach, and we were just chilling there, and there were 6-shooters there. And then Dad still had all the sprint car stuff, so I was like, what do you think about maybe building one of these? So that would be cool. So then we did one meeting or 2 meetings, and then it was all the COVID stuff, and then it was like in and out and all sorts of stuff. And then we did ended up doing a full season in the 6-shooter stuff, and that was like my first season, which was sick.
Because you see a lot of the guys who jump into 6-shooters are often a bit older as well. Like it's not often your young guys who are kind of jumping in and getting going in that class. No. So it's interesting. And you had some, you've had like Simon Wee and a few of those guys who have been down the like midget route, and they've done all of that, and then they've jumped over to kind of like just enjoy their racing at the back end. What do you think that like community was like in the 6-shooters, and how much did it actually help you starting off in that class?
No, it was really, really good. I think, when I was in there was sort of both sides of the spectrum. Like Luke was racing 6-shooters.
Yeah, true.
Cole Wood was there. I think I caught him on his last season of racing.
Cole was good too.
Yeah,
like,
he
real
was.
good.
Oh, my first meeting, like I was just starting off the back, and first race, I'm just sort of cruising into turn 1, and he like yards out.
Is that
like,
a Wakaraka?
Yeah, and it like bent the front end. Like that was the first thing I saw, was just Cole like fully above me. I was like, oh my god, like what have I got myself into?
It's hard to flip them that high as well.
Yeah, no, it was impressive.
And it was like boof, like landed like on the rails, and you know how sprint car down rails just go like that, like it was just straight over.
But yeah, like also with like the experienced guys like Simon and stuff, obviously having so much experience in other classes beforehand, and just sort of picking their brain and all that sort of stuff. And you sort of catch them in the end of their career where they're just sort of having fun and whatnot. But there's still a lot to learn from those kind of guys. I think like Jamie Larson ran 6-shooters a couple of times. Daniel Thomas ran them a couple of times. There's a couple of guys that have gone in and out of the class. So I think for me, sort of us kind of knowing that we were going to head to sprint car racing eventually, getting your spatial awareness and all that sort of stuff was, kind of a good thing.
Yeah, something I want to ask you about, because you've been kind of one of the people who have run both, is what are your opinions at the moment of the kind of LS1 versus the 6-shooter situation? Because I hadn't really seen much of the LS1 stuff. I think they ran one night when I was doing commentary at Kiki, but there was like 2 of them.
Yeah.
And then obviously we've seen heaps of 6-shooter racing over the years. We've seen people make them look awesome. Like Daniel Thomas was running one years and years ago. He was awesome. And Cole was awesome. Luke was awesome. You make them look really good. But we also have the other side of things where you've got bunch of older guys just having a good time, so it's like you kind of, it depends what night you see them and stuff, and who puts on a show and things like that. So and then we've got this LS1 discussion where we're starting to see like makes a little bit more noise, like it does seem like it's a little bit faster, a little bit more drivable.
I think like straightaway kind of speed, they're not too much faster, but it's more that they carry speed throughout the corner. I enjoy them sort of a bit more, and you can kind of sort of build momentum on them. Like the last sort of meeting that we ran in one, like once you get the thing sort of wound up, you could see sort of lap times coming through and how much sort of faster they can be compared to the 6-shooter.
What was the difference?
I think so on that night the 6-shooters were running like 16.2s or something like that, and we ran like a 15.1 or something.
Oh, yeah, that's quite different.
yeah. I think.
What do they run at Bay Park? Is it just 6-shooters or?
Yeah, just 6-shooters.
The LS1 hasn't been to Bay Park yet.
No, I don't. I think it's just been to Kiki and now Mary, which I didn't get to see too much of the Kiki stuff, but I can imagine that would be pretty fun too.
Yeah. I think there was just a lack of cars more than anything. Yeah, so it's hard to really get like a gauge on how things are going when there's only kind of a couple.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, like you said before, there is kind of in the LS1 class at the moment is kind of those older guys that are just still having fun, and if not, there's younger guys that are just getting into like their first class and they're sort of learning. So like a lot of guys had a lot of questions for me on like what I do and what I thought and all that sort of stuff. So you try to help them out because you just want to see a class grow really. But yeah, I think even the last show that we ran, if we had like a couple of like-minded drivers, I guess you'd say, like you'd see sliders and all that sort of stuff, like proper like non-wing sprint car racing. It'd be sick.
Because I think that's one of the big things is they, because I ran the non-wing when they did that like 2 years of the demonstration stuff, and it was fun, but it was like there's like 6 cars, and a lot of people didn't want to take their wings off and go through all the effort to do it like once a year, maybe twice a year. So it just never kind of took off, and then people were worried about the price of it as well if they ran it as its own class, and that's kind of where that 6-shooter thing came from. And like 6-shooters have been awesome, and they used to have like a whole bunch of momentum behind them. Like when Daniel Thomas and I think Jamie Larson ran in a bit as well, and they went to like the South Island and would run their New Zealand title and do things like that. But it does seem like that class has quietened down a little bit.
Yeah, definitely up here. I think down south it's still massive.
There's still heaps of cars.
There's so many down there, and it's still huge down there. But up here, it's hitting that tide of it turning towards the LS1 kind of thing. And I don't know if it's also with 21 as well. A lot of people are sort of looking at that and thinking, oh, now this one will be way more fun around there. But yeah, I'd like to see the class grow. And, you know, like you said, for like what they used to do at Huntley and stuff, it's like a non-wing sprint car and a normal sprint car are actually very different when it comes to, you know, what you're sort of running and the equipment and stuff. And if you were to do that sort of one-off, it's not a very easy thing to do.
And I think it was a shame that it was awesome that Huntley put their hand up to like host them, but it was also a shame that it was Huntley as well, because I think that limited what it was. Like we were just like, you'd be like roll onto the gas, you'd be like burp, and then off again, and just like like slow slide into the corners because it was so slick and like slow. So you didn't really get like a true demonstration. I think McCutcheon was like, he pulled like a couple big wheelies just to pretty much put a show on, but he's like, I'd never do that if I was trying to go fast. You know, like it was interesting, man. And then as you said, like the LS1 suits those bigger, cooler tracks, and I mean they looked really good at Lucas Oil. It looked pretty cool at 21 as well. If they could get out to Bay Park, I think that would be quite cool and kind of get a bit of momentum going behind them, because I think everyone can agree the 6-shooter has played a really good role in getting people in, but it is a little bit light on the horsepower side and the like watchability of it, as it does seem a little narrow. Yeah,
definitely. Like I'd never watch a 6-shooter race, but I'd happily hop in, have a spin.
Interesting.
Yeah, but like I think the LS1 stuff will be a lot more appealing to public eye kind of thing. And like, especially, you know, like when Bay Park gets like slick and wide, like I think it'd be sicker around there. So hopefully they get around there and get to some more tracks would be sick.
You mentioned Dad a little bit earlier as well, and we'll go into a little bit regarding him. It sounds like he didn't kind of put too much pressure on you as well to get in, which is pretty rare in our sport. Like usually it's a bunch of dads trying to live through their kids. So it's that must have been pretty cool as well to kind of let you just do it in your own time, and it's probably helped to develop what you are today as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like he put no pressure on me at all. It was kind of, if you want to, we can. If you don't, no problem. Just you know, keep hanging out with your mates or whatever. So yeah, no, he was so good when it came to that sort of thing. And like sort of easing into class and like sort of what we've come to now and like the relationship and all that sort of stuff. It's just like full trust and sort of both ways. So it kind of worked out for the better, I think.
And what's your memory of him as a driver? How old are you?
I'm 25.
25. So I mean, he didn't race for a massive amount of time after that as well. Do you remember much of him racing?
Not too much. I'd say like my earliest memory would have probably been the start of the flame car.
Yeah, right.
If not a little bit of the white Wins car that he had.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I remember that car.
Yeah, that thing was, it had the J&J hood with the box nose. The body panels and all that stuff on that thing was so sick. But yeah, not like too much. I think he had like he calls it a midlife crisis when I was like about 16 and he came back to the Springs for like 4 shows or something like that. I remember that like a lot better. But like before that, I didn't really remember too much. Like I remember running around the pits as a kid and making, you know, dirt sprint cars and all that sort of stuff, but not too much of him racing.
That's interesting. Have you been through and watched any footage and stuff like that? Yeah,
I'll go hunt down for everything that I find. He's like yards out at. But yeah, no, I'll still go through and find some stuff, and then you know you see him racing, you sort of notice and remember little bits and pieces. But yeah, and I sort of like growing up and seeing like all the photos of the cars and then seeing them actually on track and some of the cool paint schemes that he used to have were pretty sick.
And talking of cool paint schemes as well, you did a tribute car to the flame car as well, which was awesome. And I think it was probably really cool for you, but really cool for a lot of us as well who kind of grew up looking at this. I'm exactly the same as you. I remember the Wins car as like a little bit.
Yeah.
And like I remember seeing it in like do you remember the Dirt magazines? Yeah, I remember seeing them in all of those. I think I sent you like an article from an interview there as well. And we like that, they're just two really iconic cars, and it was awesome to see it come back. And a lot of the old heads really enjoyed it as well. Just like they love their history, and I think young guys like us who are kind of obsessed with it loved it as well. Yeah,
100%. And like it's funny, like I remember getting pulled out of school, going to that Wins shoot, like the photo shoot and all that sort of stuff, like briefly. But to bring that car back was kind of a big thing for us, and like just a cool tribute for him as well. And I think, you know, with the whole uncertainty of the Springs at the time, we thought it'd be a cool thing to sort of bring back just for there. Like it was a pain in the ass to do.
Did you wrap it, or was it like...
That's painted. Like that's full airbrush painted by the same guy that painted Dad's back in the day, a good family friend, Jason Hansen.
It makes it so much cooler.
Yeah, like wicked with the airbrush. And he ran that flame car and then yard sold it somewhere. I don't know where. And there was like a 2-day turnaround or something like that. And that's why it had the Chucky on the side of it. And then the original one was fully airbrushed as well. Like it was a full airbrush Chucky on the side of the thing, and it just had the iron back. So I was like, we'll bring that back in since it's coming back again. But yeah, that thing's fully painted, and I think it looks sick. The only thing that sucked was like the first night I destroyed the front wing. I think the second night was that massive crash at
the 1 into 3.
Yeah, one. No, into two off the start.
Pickens and LA?
Yeah, and that destroyed the top wing.
Were you in that? Oh,
yeah, I caught the end of it. It was like
see if I can find it.
We kind of got pissed off as well, because it was like I got caught into it, and I was like, oh no, like sort of night's done kind of thing. Sort of pulled on the infield, and then someone was looking around the car and was like you're fine. Like it'll be fine. So I was like, oh, okay. I didn't undo my belts or anything, so they sort of pushed me back onto the track. And then, because I think Brokers got caught up in it as well, and he got his grid back, and I was supposed to be off the front row, and they sent me to the back. And I was like, okay, that sucks. And then on the last lap, I think the wheel seemed to shit itself, and the right rear just departed coming out of 2 on the last lap.
So. I mean, you got involved in a couple of big ones too then, because if you caught just the end of this, because you were also in the that Jamie McDonald 1 into 3 for the New Zealand title, so that's a couple of like multi-car crashes.
Yeah.
Dude, there's nowhere for you to go.
No, like, and then like everyone talks about like obviously Pickens and LR both went for a massive ride, but like you see some of the photos of like Levis had like 2 guys jump, like he was right in the middle of that.
Yeah, I felt for Matt in that.
He
saw as well. He said he was.
I can imagine. Like he got thumped in the middle of that.
Yeah. And then, because I don't know why it popped up, but the other day the Jamie McDonald one popped up as well into turn 3. Do you remember that? Like it's probably maybe 3 years ago now, that when Joel won his title at Springs.
Yeah.
And there was just a big crash into 3, and I've got a screenshot on my phone, and like Jamie is like probably 2 or 3 meters through the fence, like there's people. Luckily, no one was standing there, because it was like they just reworked the track, so everyone's like, we're gonna get covered in shit.
Yeah.
So we'll stand back a little bit, and then because if someone was on that rail, they would have absolutely taken a rear bump to the forehead. Like it was nasty,
massive.
Who did you get caught up with?
There was like a kerfuffle,
it was like
sort of
6 cars.
There was like 2 cars that got together in front of him, and he just got like the full on worst of it. And then
he's had some big ones.
Yeah, the rest of us sort of behind. I think Max got sort of caught in it, and he sort of came up, and I slid in and just copped a left rear straight to the down tube.
That's right.
And it was like full banana down the front of it. Yeah, I think because my first 2 New Zealand titles, we hadn't done a lap. Like I got collected in that, and then when we went to Ruapuna, I got collected in another kerfuffle, and it just rode off our New Zealand titles. I think Kiki was the first time that we actually did more than 1 lap, and we did the first lap like 5 times. Like there's so many restarts in that one. but yeah, that was like the first time that I actually, did more than a lap in a title.
It sounds like your luck with titles are like my luck with 50 lappers. I think I competed in like 12 or something. I finished 1, I think, or maybe 2, like genuinely maybe 2. And we finished one like a lap down in Sydney, and we were so stoked because I was like, we did 50 laps or like 49 laps. It's like, hell yeah. Because usually I'll slow down for a crash, someone just drives through the side of me or like something like that. It was like, oh my God, we had the worst luck with 50 lappers.
You had a pretty good run though at Cromwell.
And I think that
lap and stuff.
Yeah, like we sort of went out for their qualifying / hot laps thing, and then set quick time in that, bet the track record, and that was an unofficial track record. So I was like, oh, okay, that kind of sucks. And then we go out for the heat race and we're off the front row, and then I think it sort of pulled in to do the interview, and it was like kind of one of those deals where like, especially Cromwell, like 1 and 2, so unique. It's such a different corner to sort of attack, and when I realized that I could just sort of keep going deeper and deeper and deeper, and then it kind of sort of felt like I went through one time, I was like, fuck, I didn't really feel like I lifted too much about going in, and I was like, that must have been like pretty decently quick. And then I came in and they said, well, you sort of smashed it this time. So I was like, oh, okay, at least I got it in the end.
Officially. Yeah, because you put a T on the car this year, right?
Yeah.
The car down there. Was it, because I mean, you could have chosen to put a C on it as well.
Yeah.
What was the choice to kind of base out of Cromwell? Was it just because the title was going to be there, or?
Yeah, and like I said before, with Peter, Jason and Claire obviously being a big thing, a part of that, and then sort of honestly what started the whole talks with Cromwell was that 47C was taken when I asked.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, when I talked to them, they were like, oh, someone's already, got the 47. We can ask them, but like, and I was like, oh, okay, I messaged him and asked, and he wasn't too keen on giving it up. So I was like, oh, okay, that's sort of what it was. And then I was going to run the 5C, because we obviously ran 5 when we ran in America all the time. So I was like, I will run the 5C. And that's why, like, even on our social stuff, like, people ask me, oh, why did you put like your American car as a background for your sponsorship announcements and all that sort of stuff? And it was kind of like a hint to like, oh, we'll be running the 5. And then the whole Cromwell thing came along, so we're like, oh, we'll just sort of do that. And they were keen on letting, like, at first we were just going to stay there till the title, and then sort of bring everything back up and sort of see how we went. And then we ended up doing decently with this War of the Wings series and all that sort of stuff, so we're just like, oh, we might as well just stay down there. But they were happy to let us go wherever we wanted to do. And that's been the biggest thing for us, is like, I don't like being too tied down to like, yeah. I get why tracks do it, and it makes sense. They want their guaranteed numbers and all that sort of stuff, but like, we personally think if you want big numbers to show up, you put up the prize money to bring those guys in, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, a track that'll let us kind of do what we want to do, and we're not really tied down into doing one thing, was like a massive thing for that. Do
you have plans this year to do a similar thing again?
We'll see. Like, it honestly all depends on the schedule.
Because Michael mentioned that he's going to do pretty much that same thing in terms of having a north and south car, and kind of go where the money is and go where the show is. Yeah,
if there's enough shows down there that are big enough and put enough money, then we'll definitely make the effort into doing that. But then also with the title being up here this year at Bay Park, so we'll kind of like to go there a little bit better. Like, we haven't ran too much there in the last couple of years, so it's like we kind of want to get our package a little bit better there. So that'll kind of factor into what we do, but it'll be the same thing again. We just want to do laps. Like, if there's a 3-week swing down there that's kind of worth doing, then we'll go do it. But yeah, it's all up in the air until people release what they're sort of doing, and then we'll make a decision.
We were a little nervous when we saw the New Zealand midget title at Bay Park, because we've had like there's everyone knows how good Bay Park can be.
Yeah.
And like when it's good, it's like a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
And it's so good. And then when it's bad, it's like pretty bad.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, these days, like you're having less and less of that bad.
Yeah.
And we're seeing just a solid 7 to 10 out of 10, just like almost every night.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And we were like, man, who knows? Like we've had some midget races like titles, or like they did the Bay 51, and I think we did a Bay 51 and we did like 13 laps maybe, or like things like that. And we had some races that it was just locked down to the bottom or stuff like that. And then the midget title ended up being awesome. Like it was one of the best races of the year, if not the best race of the year. And it's the potential for a really good New Zealand sprint car title at Bay Park is like, that's exciting stuff.
Yeah, it is. And like we lucked out last season being like, well, we went there twice, but the first time, or the one time that we got a full show in, was the Bay of Plenty Champs, and the track was like so sick. Like, as you know, the crowd complains because you can't sort of see, and I understand that too, and I understand what they try to do to keep the dust down. And we did have yellow due to dust, and it was like we were sort of running, sort of sweeping the top, coming up both corners, and it was hard to see the wall sort of coming through. But like it kind of, I don't know, I like having that little factor too, because it kind of makes it, you take more of a risk to get more of a reward coming out.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm kind of all for that. So hopefully, you know, they put a track kind of like that coming through, and even with that midget title, I think it was the Super Stocks do a heat race like just before the feature. I think
I'm honestly not sure.
I'm pretty sure. I just remember watching one super stock race, and there's like guys ripping the top. There's guys like rolling through. And I thought it was like the coolest thing. Like I don't normally watch like all the super stock racing and all that sort of stuff, or stock car racing, but yeah, I saw that and I was like, damn, that's so sick to see them, you know, get up amongst it.
Were you down in Cromwell when it was real dusting and had to call off the feature?
Yeah, that was night one of the invasion.
Yeah, because Dad went down as well. I'm trying to find this photo. I'm not just on my phone. I'm trying to find this photo. I'll send it through to Troy, and it's like us at Bay Park for this international midget race like years and years ago.
Just checking his TAD.
And just and it's, man, it was like I'm next to Michael Stewart, and you can basically like you pretty much can't even see the car next to me. It's so awesome. So terrifying, but so awesome.
Separates the boys from the men though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, exactly right. I think it just, like I said before, it just rewards the risk.
I've just sent it to you on Facebook, Troy.
And I think like even that one that got, I don't even know what you call it, like the feature got like cancelled, postponed, whatever, halfway through at Cromwell. I didn't think that was too bad vision wise. The wind was a little bit sketchy. Like I remember coming off the start and I was outside behind Caleb Montgomery, and we were both entering turn 3, and he sort of like skipped to the right and smoked the wall, and I was like, oh, there must sort of be some water there, and I'm like right behind him and do the exact same thing. And then I like talked to him after. I was like, oh, do you think there was like water there? He's like, no, I think there was like kind of air coming through and like sort of throwing the car to the side. I was like, oh, okay, so that's sort of what that is then. But like when we ran in, that's so sick.
Dude, that was so dangerous. Like so we had like, that was one of those international midget shows. I think they were always 40 when we went to Bay Park. Like it was always 40, and we did like, I think like 6 cars finished or something, because it was just every time there was a crash, it was just a car park. Like it was so bad, man. But he's only maybe a car width or two outside of me. Like you can barely see it. Yeah. Anyways, back to the wind.
Yeah. So the wind thing was kind of different, and then, but yeah, dust wise, it wasn't like too bad. When we went to Butler last season, that's probably the worst thing that I've had for dust. Like that was, we transferred through the B main, so the back of the A, and like there was a light on turn entry into 1. And that's sort of where the runoff was to get off the track. And the cushion was like, there was no wall there. So it's sort of like on the like sort of verge of falling off it. And you just sort of knew that if you saw the light turn in, like that's sort of where the top is. Yeah, it kind of got like, I fell off the track so many times, and not enough to sort of like suck you sort of down, but like you could sort of feel it like sort of fall off a couple times. But yeah, that's probably the worst I've had for dust and visibility. But Bay Park wasn't that bad, or Cromwell wasn't that bad, but I think more the wind there was sort of the sketchy part.
It's interesting, like when you talk about dust in the States, like some of the races through Ohio in particular are really bad for not only dust but also like low lighting as well, and I think that makes it worse. It's like you're trying to compete with the little bit of lighting that you do have, which is just like compromised by the amount of dust that's being blown up.
Well, what about Kiki, the champs last? Was that pretty dusty?
That,
because I couldn't see shit.
Yeah. I don't think it was as bad on the, like, while you're sort of running around, but you could definitely see it from the, like, seeing the videos from the outside is like, it kind of builds, I don't know if it's, I think a lot of the, like, even with Bay Park being so, with obviously the roof over it now and how it's so enclosed and there's only one air pocket coming through the big screen side, I don't know if that pays like a thing to it. I don't know if there was like two sides open, if the wind blows the right way kind of thing. And I don't know if Kiki's sort of the same with the hill. It kind of builds that sort of cyclone-y kind of thing.
I got halfway through like the sprint car champs at Kiki and I was like, I'm turning my camera off. I was like shaking it and it was just dust falling off it.
Filming the ice cream truck or something.
The Stagger Tapes is proud to be partnered with System Decal. System Decal have all your design needs, from race car designs, race day graphics, posters, and more. Get in touch with Josh at System Decal either on Facebook or systemdecal@gmail.com. System Decal. Stand out everywhere. Yeah, it's hard with sprint cars as well, because I mean, you guys have, with the wing just throwing everything up, like it just like vacuums all the dust up. Because like it depends where you sit as well a lot of the time. Like everyone, for some reason, I don't understand it, they all love sitting in turn 3 and 4 at Bay Park. And I always feel like it's the worst place to sit, because it just like, it flows straight up through 3 and 4 and covers them. Like when we sit on the front straight, because I always like sitting on the front straight, because you get like, your equal view either side. Like this is if I'm not doing commentary, equal view either side, and you get like a sense of speed as well. Which is, I enjoy that for whatever reason. And the it's not so bad when you sit there as well. Like people like bitch and moan about how bad the dust was. I'm like, I felt like it was fine where I was sitting.
Yeah, exactly right. We even when we used to watch, we used to go on the other side, like fully opposite to the flag stand, and just go like sit up in the stands there and down the straightaway, and you know, you catch it, the guys coming out of 2, and then you get entry into 4. Like I remember going, there's international sprint cars when I know Jamie Veal was over.
Oh yeah.
And it was like a Wednesday night show or something, random like that. And yeah, we were just sitting posting up there, and you know, seeing international guys rip around like Bay Park and seeing like what they're sort of used to and a lot more comfortable doing was so sick. Yeah,
Jamie Veal was awesome, man. When he came down, he was based out of the BSL shop as well. Hilarious guy as well, and like brought down, he had like Jason Huddersfield and stuff in his team, and like brought them down, and they were so funny, man, and they got along with our like shop at that point real good. Like got along with Hodgie and stuff real well, like a little bit looser of like guys. So it was they were cool. I think I was saying before, like the list of international sprint car guys we've had through, it has been so good. And we think from like our Aussie guys, like we've had, I still can't get out of my head the lap record that James McFadden set at Western Springs. Because obviously I haven't been to the States or anything. When I was in Sydney, they didn't run sprint cars the night that we were there. It was just like a midget thing. So like I haven't seen much in terms of international stuff with wing speed. I've never seen a sprint car like glued to the racing surface the way that he was. It was mind-boggling how much it was just like vacuumed to the track.
He's crazy good as well. Eh?
That's the
even
thing
now.
And I was talking about like at the moment, I think there's only like 6 guys that have won an Australian title, sprint car title, that are still running. And like we've had McFadden, Veal, Jock now, Marcus, like
Robbie Farr used to come as well all the time.
like you've got Australian champions coming over. Like the guys from Aussie that are coming over have all won a title or something.
It was cool we had Jock here.
Yeah, I think that was sick.
I think that was quite cool. But it would be cool to try and get him over again. Like, I don't know. I mean, Michael has to get hurt, I think, to get him back into that car. So we don't want that for Michael. But it would be awesome to get him in a car. And
it seemed like he was picking up right near the
Yeah. Because it is so different, man. Like, even if our track size is similar to some of their smaller stuff, like it's just the shape. Like everywhere they go, they have wing speed.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you this just before, and then I got off topic. But do you enjoy running at places like Cromwell and maybe Ruapuna, but Cromwell in particular, where there is a little bit more wing speed?
Yeah, no, I definitely like that a lot more. Where you can sort of run the thing a little bit more straight, especially in 3 and 4 in Cromwell. You can sort of get the thing sort of turned in straighter, and you're running on the board, and the board's actually deciding what you're doing, and you can, a little bit of input brings the car down. You can maneuver yourself a lot better. Which is sick. But like, I remember in the Invasion, I think it was the first night we did pole shuffle, and I lined up against Brenham Crouch, and he got me into 1 and we go into 2, and it was getting like high, and he like entered on the wall, and I was sort of watching his right rear sort of tap, and I was like, oh my, like I thought I was running up there, but god damn. But that's, you go to like that professional, even like Brenham, like that's another full-time guy that's, running national level over in the States that, and like, I think we've been so spoiled, or even like Joel and like Jonathan, like, there's not many people that have won World of Outlaws feature, and Jonathan's just cruising down here. It's
like we had those years with like Salter and stuff where he had like
Jonathan was just like a domination era, right?
Yeah.
He just won everything.
And with Salter they had like Soldana, they had Craig Delansky. They brought down all sorts of guys who were coming down, which was like, and they were at the time they were like the best of the best as well. When Donnie came down and just like destroyed everyone running Cooper's stuff. And it was so ridiculous. Like I remember them asking him in terms of like what to change with the car. He's like, nothing. He's like, just leave it alone. Just like, literally don't touch it. Got to the feature, just like put some tires on it.
We had Tony Stewart, but I don't think that went very well.
And like we got Tony Stewart, and then we got Steve Kinzer right at the end as well. I think to this day I still think that was the biggest charity win ever. I think Ella let him have it, to be honest, watching it. But it's cool that we got those guys down, because it's for the last few years, like it has felt like we're kind of wavering a little bit in terms of being able to attract people. And I think with that American Invasion, I can see Peter Murphy's trying to put together a little tour thing for people from the States to come down. So that suggests that there's something happening again, which is awesome. And I hope that they can really like push that, because especially given that those are our better tracks. In terms of 4 sprint cars, I think they really need to lean into this.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Peter's the right guy to have behind it, obviously, with so much international experience and all that sort of stuff on promotion, and all the ideas that he has is, if he's able to implement it all over here, it'll be so sick to what he can produce, and hopefully get something full-time going here would be so cool to have.
I was looking through one of the things I like to do before we get guests on is I look at the Speedway New Zealand like results archive, and I was looking through that, and I was like going back to like 2000, and I was like spotting the parts where your dad, it's like a 3 and Z, nice, and then it was like a 3 and like a GP in 99 or something like that, and it was like the guy who comes second is Brent Kading. I was like, how cool is that, man? Like we've had so many cool guys come down and do stuff here and there throughout the time.
Midgets too. Some of the best midget drivers.
Oh, it's insane. We've been so spoiled with the people that we've had come down, and it's even like as of recent, like a lot of you sort of like, even when it was Tanner and Caleb coming down, people sort of like, but it's not like Sheldon, it's not Graham, it's not like Rico and all these guys, but it's like you still got to realize these guys are like still really, really good. And it still helps us like massively having those guys here.
And Rico has been as well.
Another guy that's been here.
And especially the West Coast guys always seem to do really good here, because their stuff is a little more similar to what we have here, where it's like more bull ring style throughout the West Coast, so like Placerville and stuff like that. It's in comparison to the guys who come from like Ohio, where it is a little bit bigger. Speaking of American stuff, I figure we may as well lean into that a little bit. You've had the chance to go to the States, I think, twice now. Yep. So you've done 2 tours to the US, both through Jake Newman?
Yeah.
Yes, cool. So how did that kind of partnership come along? Was that just something that you reached out to just to see what was kind of alive there, or where did that come from?
It's actually quite interesting. So Van Gurley Jr., who actually came over here and raced with Dad, I don't even know when this was. This might have been before I was born, or like early 2000s or something. And then Mum and Dad sort of kept in touch with him and, you know, all that sort of stuff. And we sort of messaged him and said, oh, do you know anyone that's, you know, looking for a driver or can work out a deal on a car or something like that? And he's like, oh, you know, leave it with me. I'll have a look. And like a couple of months sort of passed. And then the Newmans posted something on Facebook that they were sort of looking to have someone in one of their cars. And it was after they built that car for Brandon Shepherd.
That's such a sick photo.
That's so mean.
Oh, yeah, I forget Shepherd ran.
Yeah, so that's why it's got that scheme and everything on it. There's another one at some prairie that's in front of because there was all the fairs and stuff when we were over there.
Gravitron or something.
Yeah, some big spinny thing with all these lights on it. But that's I think it was Alfred took that photo. Such a sick photographer, so good at his job.
That's cool, man.
But yeah, so it sort of went through that, and then I hit up Jim, who's Jake's dad, and sort of asked him like, oh, what's the, you know, equipment deal? What are you thinking of running? All that sort of stuff. When? All that sort of stuff. And it kind of just sort of fell into place. And after we did it the first year, they were keen to have us back again, which was pretty cool. And so we got 2 tours running with them, which was such a sick experience, and like forever grateful to those guys for letting us do it. It's obviously not an easy thing. Hauling around and like we know, like we've had guys run our equipment and tried to haul around 2 cars and all that sort of stuff. Like it's not easy at all. And you know, like we ran out of a separate trailer and all that. Like to organize all that wasn't easy. And then the first season we were there, we were lucky to have Gravy, who owns the 92 that Zack Darm's running quite often. He helped us out, and then the second year he was like sort of the full-time crew chief on our car. So we learned so much from him. He's had so much experience with different people, with like Sheldon Hongchild, and I think he went to Australia with Donnie Schatz, and like Jason Sides. He worked with so many cool people. So it was cool to sort of link around him and sort of pick him apart as well. But very lucky to get a cool opportunity like that. It's so hard to get a sort of deal going through something over there. And it's also hard when I don't know them, they don't know me.
Yeah.
It's kind of, you know, it's word of mouth. We see we're from New Zealand, and the Newmans obviously being ex-midget drivers, they knew Michael.
Yeah.
But they didn't know anyone else from New Zealand. So it's kind of just like, well, you know, you sort of go over there and you sort of see what sort of happens. But it worked out well.
How was that regarding like a bit of a culture shock in terms of the racing? Because the biggest thing that we hear from everyone who goes to the States is they're like, it is mind-blowing how much harder it is in terms of just like the level of almost everyone across the board is just another level. Yeah, definitely.
And like we only ran, the first time we ran regional stuff, like with IRA and like Moa and all that sort of stuff. But, you know, those guys that are running those same tracks like over and over and over again, like they're so good at those tracks. So it's, you know, we were stoked the first year just to make every A main. Like that was like a massive thing for us. And then, so that was a huge thing. And then obviously the format sort of thing, you know, knowing that in hot laps, you got to get yourself pretty close to being comfortable, and then, you know, you go out for qualifying and you just got to let it kind of all hang out sort of thing. So that was also very, very different, but I think we adapted quite quickly, which was sick. And then also getting used to the team as well, and what I like and them getting to know what I like and what I need and all that sort of stuff. And the communication was, you know, it's a very quick time to try figure all that out. But they were good at getting me comfortable pretty quick. I think the first night, like the very first night we ran there, we ran at Lincoln. It was a mower show, and like I always use my brake, like I'm hard on my brake. And I was running these real soft pads and thing, and I fried absolutely brand new pads in this thing, and absolutely fried them. And I think I ran out of brakes in like 3 laps, and like I was locked up, like locked down, and yeah, like just absolutely fried them. And then I remember we were getting pushed into the like sort of roll off the track because there's no gate or anything, and sort of stop. And then the guy that was on the quad sort of came up behind me. He's like, "You all good?" I was like, "I got no brakes." He's like, "Oh, okay." And then by the time we sort of got there to the trailer, which would have been like, I don't know, 300 meters or something, I don't know how, he kind of forgot I had no brakes. So like I go in, and then he gives me like a big shunt as I'm like dead in line with the trailer, straight up the trailer door, the top of the wing smokes the like thing. And then I'm like, this like first heat race, and like I roll back down, and like Jake's dad's like sort of looks over. I was like, oh god, must look like such a dick right now. But yeah, so it was just, you know, learning stuff like that, and you know what the equipment that sort of I needed to, what would you say, sort of surround my driving style kind of thing.
Because at that point, the kind of the only experience you'd had, because I mean, what was your first year in the 6-shooter?
For 2020.
Right, and then you said it was broken up through COVID, and then you did like kind of properly started in 21 almost.
Yeah, I think so. It would have been something like that. I can't remember. There was the first lockdown sort of finished
At the
like
end of
start,
that 1920 season. Yeah.
And then, yeah, we went into Sprintcar. I mean, sorry, 6-shooter full season. And then there was that other lockdown. And then the Springs did the red light series.
Yeah.
And then that's when we went sprint car.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, when you talk about how early this is in your sprint car career to go to the States, like this is extremely early, like baptism by fire almost.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of the racing that we've done in New Zealand at that point, or you would have done in New Zealand at that point, is like Western Springs, not a massive wing speed track, maybe like a little bit of Bay Park, some things like that. So it's nothing in comparison to these places that you're going to. Was that a big kind of culture shock in terms of getting used to the different approach to how you personally had to drive?
Yeah, definitely. I think like the first couple of nights where they were kind of lucked out, and like the first place we went to was like locked down, wasn't very wide, like didn't really have a choice, I guess. I think it was when we went to some prairie, Angel Park, and then I kind of like realized like, holy shit, like you can see how you're going to miss your marks like real easy with catching dirty air and all that sort of stuff. So that was probably the biggest thing. But when we like lined up our schedules and stuff, like there's no point in us going to a half mile to try to learn for here.
Yeah.
Like for us, that was like not really the thing. So those tracks that were still like, I think some periods were a 3/8 mile or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's so round.
Yeah.
That
you're
so,
always on the wing.
Yeah, exactly right. So I was like, that was where it kind of showed a little bit more. And then other tracks. But I think that's also what, you know, sort of taught me what I needed to know. And, you know, like you said, us going so early in our sprint car career was just a laps thing again. And, you know, like we said before, like we wouldn't have teed it up if like Dad didn't think I was sort of ready or could adapt to it quick enough. So yeah, we knew we weren't going to be too far out of the water. So it gave us a little bit of confidence, I guess, going in.
Sometimes a bit of punishment like that is what you need as well.
100%.
You know, it's like I think we're definitely guilty of it in New Zealand, especially. I mean, the guy starting on the pole of the Dream tonight in the late models is 18.
Yeah.
Right. And obviously things are different in the States, and the way the experience they get so early is different to what we have here. But I think we baby our drivers a little bit too much, and we take too long to kind of make that next step and the next step.
Yeah.
So I think that like a little bit of punishment and going early and getting beaten up a little bit here and there, it probably would have done you wonders in comparison to if you took like a more conservative approach. You wait till you're ready. Like, let's wait another 3 years and then we'll go. And then it's like, you may as well just go and get it over with.
Yeah, that was it. And it was, we were lucky, like even talking about Gravy before, like he was so honest with me. Like if I was doing shit or if it was my fault, like he would tell me that it was my fault. And like I liked that within my team. Like if something happens and like, oh no, you're just being a dick, or you actually messed up there, like it's just good to have like that sort of honesty, and people sort of, especially when you're learning, when you don't really know what's,
you need it.
You need to sort of be put into like what is right and what is wrong. Yeah.
A conversation I've had recently with someone is that they're looking for a little bit of feedback from me for next year, because they're mostly surrounded by family and stuff, and family can sometimes be the worst for doing the, you're doing well, and like keep giving you the pat on the back even when you're not doing well and things like that. I think I was quite lucky. Like I had Glenn Martin, who was my crew chief here. He was brutal for me. Like he was real brutal. And like if it was my fault, it was the same thing. He'd tell me it was my fault. And then when Glenn left, Jared came in. And Jared's even more brutal. So like Jared was way worse than Glenn, and like was just absolutely brutal. But like it's good because you can't get away with anything, you know, and you have to adapt and learn, and you're not going to do that with just a pat on the back.
100%. And that was like even the thing last season with us being down south so much. We're so lucky to have Hayden Warrington helping us out quite a bit, and when he wasn't helping Michael out, obviously. And like we clicked so quickly when it came to the thing, which we weren't really expecting. But yeah, like, we came in one night, we started off 2, finished 3rd in the feature, and like we were both like not very happy. But it was just good to have that. Like it's still a great result. Like, you look back and it's like, oh no, that wasn't bad really. All. But it's good to have that.
You don't show up to run 3rd.
No. It's good to have that mentality and have like-minded people knowing that like everyone wants to do well. So yeah, no, he was massive to us as well.
And so this is your first tour of the States, and then you make that decision to kind of go back for a second one. Yeah. How was that in comparison to that first tour?
I think it was, you go over knowing what to expect. Like I said, with the whole team and all that sort of stuff, you just knew what to expect, where you're going, what the competition was sort of like. I think like at that time, I was watching the competition a lot more as well.
Because is the second year you went the year that Max was doing a lot of IRA stuff, or the first year?
Max was still doing a lot of IRA stuff, but in his own car and sort of bouncing it. Like he wasn't committed to the series full time. And then the second year we went was when he was running for Greg. And ran the full time season over there. They all called him the rookie of the race. He's got rookie of the race. But so that was sort of the difference. We knew where we were kind of at, and which was also different. Like we showed up to the first show and we were at a Power Eye show at Burlington, and like we show up there and Reitzel's there. And, like,
that's at 34, right?
Yeah. There's like 44 that's cars
too, man.
Yeah, like that was my first like proper like wing speed kind of thing. Like Sunperu was kind of like the opener, but this was like the next level of like I could not run the top for pretty much the whole night until halfway through the B main, and I finally figured it out. I remember Gravy telling, like, because we hot lapped pretty decently, and then we went out for qualifying, and like we were quite late, and he'd go up to the track. Oh, someone just ran here and here and went quick time. Come back. Oh no, now they're running here and here and went quick, and like it completely like fucked with me. And but like the consistent thing was like running the top in 1 and 2. And then I go in to run the top, and the thing just like straight to the pole line. And I was like, oh shit. And then I remember Jai Corbett was pitted right next to us. And it's like, if you're doing that during the heat races, you're gonna like club other guys. But it was the same thing again. Like he said it in a nice enough way that it was just constructive criticism. Which I appreciate, because I don't want to go out in a heat race and club someone and end someone's night for no reason. But like that was sort of the other thing. Like we knew what to expect, but then like, you know, all those guys that just show up like you wouldn't expect to. But it was still good though. Like we learned heaps.
Is 34 no wall in 1 and 2, and then
Yeah.
wall 3 and 4, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's that way. It's the one with the low wall on the back stretch. The one where Brad Sweet ripped that car in half.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And when I finally figured out I'm running the top down with the wall side, some dude right in front of me just like full on yard sale jumped the cushion, and I was like, oh fuck, here we go again.
What was that like for you, like going over and running with no wall? Because for me, when we ran in Sydney at Valvoline, obviously before the new place, it took me, like you said, it took a while to kind of get to the top. And like I had the same thing, because I was like, you kind of enter up there and you're like, oh, like you've got that feeling where you're like, I think I'm there. And if you just put a wall there, I would have no issue just like sailing it in. But for some reason, just because we don't do it, it's in your head that I'm just going to go whoop and just go straight off the top and disappear, you know?
I think it was kind of the opposite. Okay. Like I think when it came to having the wall, I could see where I, like in comparison how far you were, and I was like, oh shit, I'm getting close. I need to like sort of, you know, calm down, whatever. But without the wall, like there's no, I'm getting close. So you're just sort of up there, and then you're like, and then you feel yourself sort of fall off a little bit, and it was like, oh shit, now I know I'm close. So I kind of liked the no wall deal a little bit. Obviously a little bit more forgiving when it come to rolling off the side of the track and all that sort of stuff. But like, you know, like places like when we went to Jacksonville, when it has the one straight with no wall and all that sort of stuff, but then knowing that because it has that like gnarly burn coming off four, and you can sort of like get up into it and like run off it, and like I thought that was so sick that you could sort of like run up it and get runs and all that sort of stuff.
Because it builds so nice. I think I don't remember what car Chris Bell was running years ago, but it might have been an outlaw race, and I think he won the outlaw race there, and it might have been with Swindells or something, and they sent a photo of the wall out of 4 afterwards, and it's just like the perfect ramp almost, like, and the dirt builds against it, and then it is genuinely just like this smooth ramp, and you can like, if you get up on it, and then you can just, they carry so much car speed off 4 if you can like get it properly.
100%. It's like that little like kicker thing. And like when we went the first time, because Jake, like Jacksonville's down the road from Jake's shop and all that sort of stuff, so he'd been racing there since he was like 5 or something.
And he did heaps of power ride midget stuff. And they go to Jacksonville a lot.
So that was like kind of his deal, is that place. And like we watched him when we went to Knoxville Nationals, and he ran there, and he didn't do too much half mile stuff at that point. So you're kind of like looking like, oh no, like, what have we got ourselves into kind of thing. And then we go to Jacksonville, and it was like we're watching that heat race, and he was sort of roaming around the top 5 kind of pars. And it was like a mower race. So there's no qualifying or anything. It's like one heat, like a lot is on your sort of pill draw thing. And then I just remember there was like a yellow with like 3 or 4 to go, and he just like wound this thing up and just threw this like full on haymaker, like bounces off the wall and wins the sprint car race. And we're like, holy shit. And then we like kind of realized, oh, okay, maybe we're all right here.
Yeah. That's cool, man. We talked about no walls, and I've got a couple of the tracks I want to talk to you about. One is Bloomington.
Yeah.
And I remember watching this because I think it might have been Max won the night that you were there, right? Yeah. So I remember watching it live, and it was on Flow and everything. And what's it like racing at Bloomington? Because that's been like almost like a bucket list track for me forever. Just to go watch it. It's such a cool racetrack.
That was so. I loved going to Bloomington. Like pissed down an hour before hot laps while we were there.
Yeah, because it was heavy.
It was heavy there. Like I think we ran the fastest lap of the night in our heat race, and it was like a 9.7 or something. Like it was fast. But like when I can't remember exactly who was in my heat race, but it was like I was off one, I think Dylan Norris was on the outside, and Emerson Axon was behind me, so it was just like planted and run kind of thing. So that was kind of the thing behind that. But Bloomington was so sick. I enjoyed that so much. We had I think in the dash it was, I can't remember the order exactly, but I know the whole like outside line was me, Joel, and Max.
Oh yeah.
Which was pretty cool. And then in the feature we're moving forward, and it kind of like built a curb that night, and then you could sort of run in the fluff a little bit. And we're running up in the fluff, but it was like, you enter above a car and it's like just yanking tear offs through mid corner because it was so heavy. It's kind of like that, like a Bay Parky kind of orange sticky dirt kind of thing. And then we had a combination arm brake in us. I don't know. I think it was just us running in the rough kind of thing the whole time, and sort of pulled off on a restart. But enjoyed that place so much.
Next place I wanted to ask you about was you ran Macon, I think, as well. Yeah, so we've gone from you talking about kind of wing speed and running these big tracks yet to get used to and stuff. What was it like racing on a Fruit Loop instead? Because I mean, Macon's tiny, man.
Dude, like a banked up Rosebank Road.
Yeah,
like, literally.
It's so little.
I think someone said to us it's like a 6 mile on the pole line, a 5th mile around the fence or something like that. The place was tiny. That place was sick. And then I remember asking all about like the gear sets and stuff. I think we ran like a 709 gear set, which was like absolutely ridiculous on how like high it would rev. And like we were running a Stanton at the time in that car, and apparently they just love high RPM. So that thing was like revving at like 9.5 on turn entry and stuff. It was so sick. But that place was so cool, and like it's so banked, and it was the same sort of thing where it sort of built up against the wall and you could sort of bang it down a little bit. But then obviously the on shoot on the exit of down the bottom, or where are we?
I don't know.
We're lost in Google Maps America.
So if you up or go back on that last one. Oh, is she just on a full-on like rotation? At the top there, it's like the entrance to the track.
Yeah.
On the top left.
Yeah.
So it sort of like fades off there, and you can kind of get caught out on that sort of thing.
Small, eh?
Where it's like where it's packed in.
So the curb sort of packs itself in.
Yeah.
But that place was so sick. And then when we went last year, they were doing the Haltor late model thing, so we went down again and watched that there, and it was like qualifying was like straight on the fence, and like you hear them like clunk into gear, and then it's just like hard on the gas on the fence, and they all come off the track with no right side fucking rear quarter. It was so sick. And then the heat races, they're throwing like sliders, and like it was sick late model racing.
Because that's the thing, like Macon is a small track. Like they run like micro sprints there, and then they run. So it shows you like the span of the track, because it's like it's big enough that they can run good micro races there. Then they run midgets are like planes in a gym. Like it's crazy. Like they're just so fast and like dicing and stuff. And then it's like sprint cars and super late models and stuff. It's just crazy that it's like such a little racetrack, and we've got all spans of classes there and stuff. I mean, you mentioned the super lates there, and they're nuts, man. When they go to Macon, it's insane. And I think they all just drive into the place knowing that there's going to be a bit of
torn up
shit. A bit of torn up shit, and you just deal with the fact that it's like this is what it is,
Yeah, definitely. And they were so I don't know why it does that, if it's it is actually quite banked, like in real life when you look at it, like it's banked.
It's crazy.
And then obviously the width as well, like even when we were there, Joel was there as well. I think he was in, I don't know, he was somewhere in the top 3 and spun and then started from the back again like halfway through the race, and he ended up finishing 3rd or something again. But that was just bouncing off the wall, and like it was so wide that you can make those runs and stuff like that. But that place is so sick. I'd love a place like that here. It'd be so sick to have.
If we have to think back to both your tours that you did there, what was your like the favorite track that you went to?
I'd probably say Jacksonville.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Jacksonville was my favorite. Because we went there both trips as well, so we sort of had time to race there. But I really enjoyed going to Jacksonville.
Jacksonville puts on really good sprint car racing as well, and I mean I think the Outlaws were there not too long ago, and it was another like awesome race as well. And there's that legendary race if you go back, I mean it's almost like 10 years now, but it's like gravel and Larson and stuff, and the racing's so good. It's I mean I mentioned before with Newman saying that Power I used to go there all the time, and you see some really good midget races there as well. I think we've got like, it would be great to just pop up a racetrack here, right? But it's the same question again. It's like, how big do you go? And
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
We talk about, everyone always wants a bigger racetrack because all of our stuff's so small. But then I don't even know if it's about size. Like, it's almost like just the orientation of the track and like how much banking we've got and stuff. There's so much that you could do with it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that is the biggest thing. Like, you know, you're talking two different spectrums when it comes to, you know, even Jacksonville to Macon to Burlington as well, like 34 Raceway. Like, they're all such sick tracks, but so different in size. But I think it's just honestly like just the banking and the dirt there is obviously a massive thing. That dark dirt that they sort of have in that Illinois sort of area, Iowa area. I don't know, it just reacts so much. Like, I don't know what it is. It just reacts. And like track prep there's like crazy. Like, it's just some dude in like this massive like monster truck, like water sprayer thing that's just like cruising around, and you just like show up and it's like the sickest track ever. Like, the grandstand's falling apart. Like, I remember walking on the crew stand, like nearly falling, like sort of through, like it's falling apart and all that stuff. But the track's like sick. I think that's like the other thing here is like people sort of don't realize like how good we have it when it comes to facility wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, like Springs is insane for facility wise, and most places like that. And, you know, a lot of people say that about Lucas Oil as well. It's like all the seating and stuff like that. But it's like, you know, there's so many tracks where there's not like full grandstands. Like, there doesn't have to be full grandstands around. There can still be like Kiki's full dirt hill, Ruapuna's full dirt hill.
Yeah.
It still, you know, packs the place out.
Yeah, it's funny in the States, the amount of places that only have seating on one straight as well, or things like that. It's like one, and it's not even like a grandstand, like it's just like a regular seating stand. And they're like, oh, packed house tonight. Like, it looks like probably a few hundred people in the crowd. Yeah, it's interesting, man. It's I think your comment about the dirt is a big one. I think our dirt is like, we have too much clay here, where it's it doesn't budge very well, and it has to be like the right like almost the perfect combination of weather and water and the classes racing on the night. And then sometimes it's about the order that the classes go out in as well. Like, it just has to, it's such an art. And then
it's a hard job, honestly.
Because we were talking about the Dream, because like obviously tonight is the final night of the Dream. They had a thunderstorm that rolled through earlier, right, at like 4 o'clock, like drowned the place completely pretty much. And like, I think they have the luxury of the banking, so the water runs down the banking. But the, like, even with how wet it was, like, went slick middle, decent lane, top and bottom, and then the racing's fine. Like, it's, and the guys are still wetting the track afterwards, like, just to keep the moisture in it. It's, I think the dirt is one of the big things that we're missing here.
Yeah, it's massive here. Like, you know, even bringing up like Bay Park again, like, that's like the dirt there's so fine, and I think that's why it gets so dusty and all that sort of stuff. It's just like a fine, like, you know it when you're washing, you know, the car the next day, or even, you know, you get home and there's just like orange shit all in your shoes, like everywhere.
But they've tried as well. Like, a lot of places have tried to put stuff in to try and like almost clump it a bit more, but then you get the opposite issue where the dirt doesn't move and it doesn't break up and stuff.
So like I said before, I'd hate to have the job. Like, it is hard. But, you know, like Ray doing what he's done down in Ruapuna has been massive. Like, I think, like, props to him for not really knowing too much going into it, and, you know, just having a proper crack at it, and sort of learning along the way. I think he's, you know, we had some rough tracks and whatnot, but, you know, we also had some pretty good racing tracks and stuff. Like, it always gets wide and up against the wall. Like, it started down there, you could start seeing it packing against the wall and stuff. So he got that dirt to move nicely throughout the night, kind of thing.
The New Zealand title that Jamie Larson won at Ruapuna was like, that was so good, man. Like, on the fence, or about as on the fence as you can get. That was nuts. Keeping kind of the link to the American stuff, you mentioned earlier that you had T-Mez come over to run your second car. This is probably 2 years ago now, I think, or possibly 3 years ago. Kind of, where did that deal come from? Because I know he was looking at coming down, but where did it all originate from?
Yeah, it was. I think he was pretty much coming. and everything was sort of organised but a car. And I think Teamers being Teamers wasn't too worried about if he was or wasn't. But yeah, and then I think John asked us if we were keen to do it, and we sort of thought about like how hard it was going to be, and you know all the ins and outs of it. And then you know they wanted, like, we had to go to Palmy down there for like a week show and stuff like that. So we're just sort of looking at the ins and outs of it all, and then we thought, you know, with Teamy as a social presence and all that stuff for our partners and all the brands and stuff like that, we thought, oh, it's probably worth, you know, kind of looking into. So yeah, we sort of did that, and I think we had a shocker of a series, I think, to say the least. Like, I destroyed a car when it was rough at Western Springs.
Was that when out of 2 with Brady?
Yeah. Brady broke the shock tower and just like no fault, like just hit the ground and stopped, and I had nowhere to go and sort of ran over him. And then we both blew an engine at Palmy. We did 2 engines at Palmy. We come back and it was like 2-day turnaround, and yeah, we got so lucky. Like, we had 1 engine sitting there that we put in Team Ez's car, and then we were lucky that Stephen Ian Taylor offered us another engine to chuck in the other car just to sort of finish off the international thing. But yeah, that was like a horrible set. Like, when it just came to luck, it just sucked.
It can be like that as well. It's like sometimes the thing that has the most potential, like it works out completely the opposite.
Yeah.
What was the kind of time like with him as an individual as well, and having him around the troops?
Yeah, no, it was cool. You know, whole different mindset to how he does things, and sort of
Because not traditionally a wing guy as well.
No, not at all. You know, obviously coming from the midget kind of thing, and then doing, I think at the time he was doing quite a lot of non-wing sprint car stuff. So yeah, it was interesting to hear, you know, obviously stories about that. And then I think that, so we went to America and met Jake and all them before he came over. So it must have been start of last season that he was here. So we saw him when we ran at Farmington or something, and we ran against him and all that sort of stuff. So he was running some wing stuff then, and then like how he knew the Newmans, and like just a whole bunch of ins and outs and stuff like that. So yeah, it was cool to hear like a lot of his stories and stuff like that. But
yeah, he's been around forever.
Yeah.
Like Glenn talks about because obviously Glenn has a cool history with like 9 Racing and stuff like that. So, and that goes back to early 2000s and maybe even before that. And then, and he was around then, like, and he was doing racing then and bouncing between rides. And then we jumped forward, 25 years, and he's still doing the same thing, like still bouncing between rides, still jumping between, doing a bunch of midget stuff, some wing stuff here and there. Like he's running a bunch of the Knoxville schedule this year. Like he's a little bit of everywhere.
Yeah, he is. And that was the other cool thing. It's just, you know, like even hearing how he sort of started out and all the things that he was doing and jumping between those rides and how those rides were coming along and all that sort of stuff was pretty cool.
For yourself, within the last kind of year or two as well, you've started doing a little bit of racing in Australia with BSL as well. A couple of kind of one-off shows here and there. And where did that come from, and how's that been going?
Yeah, that's kind of a random one. I think how it all came about was Bill was sort of looking to start a sprint car program over in Australia, and I think he contacted Dad about some of our equipment, and then Dad sort of led him on to different equipment to buy and all that sort of stuff. So they ended up doing that, and then they put together a car, and then Daniel ran that in South Australia, which I think was the 7 car, and then they just called us up and asked us if we wanted to come over and run in Sydney alongside Travis. He was running the 7 car and we were running the 25 car, and we were running a cool, the Maxwell in it, and then Travis had the Spike deal. They got all the Spike stuff going, so he was in the Spike car. Which was a sick opportunity. Obviously forever grateful to Bill for giving me the opportunity to go over and do that. I had a blast over there, and it was cool to see Travis get in a sprint car again. Like I remember we raced against each other my first season racing sprint cars. I didn't see him too much after that, but to see him hop back in it, and that night he did, like, he impressed me. I told him myself, I was like, you should go proper sprint car racing, like, screw all the midget stuff, go full-time sprint car stuff. But it was, it was a sick opportunity, and to be, like, obviously hearing so much about Bill and seeing how many opportunities he's given to so many people, it was cool to see it all firsthand as well. And how hard that guy works is actually insane.
It's crazy, eh? Like, the amount of times you'd be at BSL and we'd be working on our stuff and we'd be like, oh, we need to go and ask Bill about something. And it's like, all right, which building is he in? You have to, like, float around and you go around. Have you seen Bill? Yeah, he was here a while ago. And this was when he had the Segway as well. I don't know if you know much about the Segway. And he was on the Segway and he would just zoot from, like, building to building and, like, wind those people up, go work on something down there, zoot back the other way. So, like, it'd be impossible to find him. And he's like, he's the kind of guy where you look at him and you're like, there's no way that guy is the millionaire genius, you know, because he just looks like a regular dude.
Just a normal dude.
Yeah.
And that was the same. Like, they're set up in Sydney with their shared spaces and all that sort of stuff. And I remember we were there, and then I went out with someone. We were going and grabbing lunch for everyone, and in one of the shared spaces, it was like a blocked off sort of area, and then it was all like an office almost kind of thing. Left, and there's a full office there. Come back, it's all gone, and there's a tire rack in there, like a fully, like, wooden built tire rack. I was like, where the hell did this come from? Oh, Bill's just been building that.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Like, take as a log.
Yeah. No, it's so sick.
Yeah, that's cool. Is that where the opportunity to run the F2 came from as well?
Yeah, that's sort of where that came from as well. I think we were going to run the F2 title as well.
Oh, yeah.
But they didn't want anyone running double duty that night. So we'd been the Bay of Plenty sprint car thing. We were like, okay, we'll just do the sprint car deal. And then I think the second night, that it rained, there's for some reason like a real, I don't know if Up Here was running as well, like it was a full like split sort of thing going on. So they ran that teams with A grades and F2s thing.
You only got one race in it.
Yeah, only one race, and we started off the back of the A graders and sort of chill from there, which that was a blast. I had so much fun in that.
Yeah. Because had you run any kind of midget or anything?
Nothing.
Okay.
It was just like straight in the deep end off two.
Yeah, because I mean everything you've run then is all sprint car size, right? It all, although it's wing, non-wing, power difference, etc. It all feels the same, you know.
No, getting into that, and like obviously I'm not like a small guy, so like sort of sitting there, your knees like hard against it, and like trying to fit in the thing was pretty like different. And then I think after that heat race I was like, no, we're gonna like take the visor off. I can't even like see out the just being too like tall for it and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I remember we had Hayden help us out because we had no idea what we were doing, and then you know, Daniel was running A grade, someone else was in another F2, and I think Andrew and Travis were running in Australia doing a midget thing over there. So it was just Thomas helping us, like pretty much running everything. So I was like, oh, okay, Hayden's going to come up and sort of help me out. And this sort of comes back to the sort of the trust thing. And I was sort of asked him like, what do I do? I got no idea. And he's like, oh, you'll be just like hammer into turn one and you'll be like sort of fine. I was like, okay. So like straight into turn one, and it was like bumpy by the pit gate, and I just feel this thing like sort of bucking, and then it like goes over to the right rear, and I'm like, oh shit, I am done. And then it sort of sat there, and I was like, oh, this is actually kind of sick.
Welcome to midget racing.
Because obviously not being used to that feeling really too much at all.
Because that's the thing about like six shooters and LS1s. Like the good thing about them is they're extremely stable race cars.
They are. They're very, very stable. And the only time you're really getting like that feeling is you're biking, like and the six shooter sort of stuff. But yeah, and then you come back in. It's like, I told you to do that, but I didn't think you were actually gonna like lap one just straight out and do it. Which is
on the boards.
Yeah, that was good fun.
It's hard, man. I've always been thankful about the like my size. Like I'm only like 5'10", so I'm like the perfect height where I like probably a little tall for like when I jumped into Dana's TQ, like I'm like a little bit jammed in there, but like you could make those fit, like because there's guys like Regan Tyler and stuff aren't short and they fit pretty comfy. And then in the midget, like had enough room where I was like kind of, you know, you almost want to be a little jammed in, where you're like a little crammed. So I was like, it always worked out really well. Always felt sorry for like taller guys like yourself, because man, it looks like a tough go when you get in anything but a sprint car.
Even like the sprint car stuff can be tight, but it's not too bad. Like I think the only thing that's the hard thing is the whole head clearance thing. Like I put in a mandate to try sort a better halo system out for those things instead of having the sort of ski ramp thing. So hopefully that goes the way that we want it, because like Maxim and Triple X and all those guys make a standard halo kit. Like you've probably seen on like Larson used to run one. I don't know if he still does. He has a 1-bar-1 going over. Corey Day did. A couple of guys do, but like a lot of even the back ones like sort of come across to just prevent that. You know, it's like a double thing. It stops things from coming in, but you can measure head clearance from there. So like, because for me, I'm not far off like having head clearance without having the ski ramp. I just call it a ski ramp thing, but that protection bar or whatever it's called. So it's like just annoying to have it. So hopefully, that can come through. But like I know Larson was big for it as well, and like he's a lot shorter than me, but he's got like the tall torso kind of thing. So he had to do the same thing, and like it is annoying for a lot of guys.
One of the other things I've got on here is your kind of all the design and sticker stuff that you've been doing for the probably past handful of years, right? And it's kind of really taken off in the last couple. So that's through Sokol Designs. Right? How's that gone? Was that a thing that you always wanted to do?
It was kind of a strange sort of thing how it started. It started on doing. I got someone to do merchandise for me and to start off with, and I was like, oh no, I'll have a crack at this and sort of do my own stuff. And then I started doing all my own stuff, and then people started asking if I could do stuff for them, and then I sort of realized I can do that, and I was doing it outside of a full-time job at the time. And then it sort of got to the point where I could do it full-time and met enough people and connections and stuff to sort of do it. But it's been cool, like really, really cool. It's cool seeing like your own stuff on track. Obviously the Dumbs Needs have been a huge thing for me, which has been so sick. Good friends as well. So like seeing all Marcus's stuff out there and seeing, his car on billboards, posters and all that sort of stuff. So, it's just cool seeing your stuff around and helping people out, with their visions and stuff. Yeah,
I was looking through the I kind of went on a tangent looking at the Newman's Facebook page and stuff as well, and they did like a release of one of their cars for this year or something. I was like, oh, thanks to Zack Sokol for the design. I was like, it's pretty cool, man. He
did our logo, the Speedviz logo.
Did he really? Oh yeah. There you go. It's cool, man, and that is something that we've seen more and more over the past few years, because at one point it was just like your signwriter did your design, and it was whether you liked it or not, like it was kind of what you got. And then nowadays there's so much more flexibility, and there's so many designers, so many people who do their own stuff, and people who kind of branch out, do a little bit of stickers, but mostly designs or whatever. You can kind of guide where you go.
100%. And I think I did all of our cars coming through, and some of the early 6-shooters are hideous. Like you look at some of them and it's like, oh my god, what was I sort of thinking? But seeing it sort of develop to what it comes to now, and doing what, like you said, like what I like and what I want to do is pretty sick. But and like Jake's car's all like, that's got like corn through it and all that sort of stuff. So it's like a sick thing for his sponsors having like branded on board with them and stuff, which is like something cool and different at the same time.
I suppose that's the difference between you and like regular guys, right? It's like whenever we would mess around with designs, we'd put it on like an R Factor midget. You're putting it on an actual race car, and you're like, we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's obviously the other cool thing is I can sort of show what I can do through my own stuff, which makes a massive difference, obviously. And I think like growing up, I was always into like drawing cars and all that sort of crap as well. And like you know, even going back to like what you were saying before, Ron having Soldana over here, and I was so excited for Joey to come here because I always loved his cars. And
What's your favorite Joey car?
the Budweiser one with the red spikes,
Yeah.
and they actually brought that scheme here
Yeah.
with the Salter Carnage thing. That's easily my favorite car.
Some of the old Outlaw sprint cars look so cool.
Yes.
Like even on the game,
Yeah.
like the
2002 game.
Yeah.
like the baby blue Sandy Swindell,
Yeah.
and the green Kinsler.
Yeah. The Quaker State
Iconic.
car.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like we see all sorts of designs, and a lot of them are just like so, and you
Yeah.
see them and you're like, that's kind of cool. But every now and then we get like a really cool design down here.
Yeah.
You mentioned with your dad the like the panel shape on the OG cars.
Yeah.
I think that's something that, I mean, we talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's something we usually talk about it from a midget point of view.
Yeah.
But even with the sprint car side, like the OG Soldana hoods and stuff, and they
Yeah.
had like that massive like two-piece Soldana hood.
Yeah.
Like those were really cool.
Yeah.
Not a Soldana hood, but it was the one that he ran when he was at like KKR and
Yeah.
stuff, you know?
Yeah. Well, that was always like KKR stuff was always like so different.
Yeah.
Like I think they were also like the originator of like what is now like the spike square hood on the sprint car stuff. You know, obviously back to like even the Casey Kane Red Bull car that had like the no front bonnet that sort of came down.
Yeah.
That Caleb runs as well.
Yeah, he does.
Like
yeah.
sick stuff like that. Like I think it's still kind of around more in the sprint car stuff than it is the midget stuff. There's definitely a lot more options, I think. Like even like the old, well, a lot of guys run it here with the Maxim kit with the big flare wing on the right side with
Yeah.
like the spoke kind of deals on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't really say. I guess our car's all flat at the moment now, anyway. But I like having like for us, it's different to have a full flat right side arm guard and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I like having that.
It's funny because you always have like a little bit more like lateral space. You were talking about like vertical,
Yeah.
but even like sideways as well. That was one thing when I ran the sprint car or when I ran the wingless and stuff. I was sitting in it and I was like, man, I can fit my full fist down the side of the seat to the chassis rails. Like it just goes all the way. Usually I'm used to like a TQ or a midget where you put the seat in the frame and it like bangs off every bar on the way down, and then it's like, all right, I guess that's where it's going. Drill the hole. Like it's kind of where you're at. But with the sprint car, there's so much space in that cockpit, like left and right.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, even still like kind of vertical as well. Even with the F2 stuff is like with like the brake disc and all that sort of stuff as well. I didn't realize how much of a, not like obviously it's an issue if your seat's smoking it, but like how fine the line is,
Yeah.
especially when I was worrying about head height as well as like bottom height as where.
And then it's like, it can be hard where like you'll roll the arse of the seat forward, but then it jams your knees in these weird places and stuff. Yeah, it can be a nightmare.
Yeah. Our seat's like all like sort of made so it sort of leans back, and it's kind of, we run the chasm thing now.
Yeah.
Which I'm a huge advocate for. Like at the end of the day, what do you value your sort of safety at, right? So yeah, we run that stuff, and even just trying to make that fit and make it so if we are swapping cars or whatever, that it, you know, works easily with everything. It's been a little bit of a challenge, but you know, you slowly figure it out.
You talk about the safety thing. There's two that come to mind with that. One is rock guards. I remember the Bill Baylog photo of like, and obviously the more recently Aaron Wright's with his nose getting broken and stuff. But
that photo was brutal.
Bill Baylog had one where it like smashed his visor to pieces and stuff as well. And the caption for the post was like, "Time for a rock guard." It's like, yeah, let's wait till the rock hits your head first.
It's like James Earl.
Yeah, he got knocked out. Yeah, I think he did anyways into 1 and 2 and had a crash there. And then the other thing is knees in terms of like knee guards and stuff. And there's two things that come to mind with that. Number one is, do you remember the blue Alf car, Andrew Stewart? And if this is years ago, it's number 16 midget. And one of the things locked in the brain, I don't know why. And he had an accident in turn 1 and 2 and like blew his knees to bits. And like earlier that day, he was looking at knee guards as well.
Oh, wow.
And I remember Pickens always used to preach, we'd hear him talking about it all the time, just saying like, you get one set of knees basically.
Yeah.
And then they're never the same. Like it's like rolling your ankle, right? You break your ankle once, it's screwed forever. Like, yeah, you've got the choice of making the best decision for your own safety. And I think seeing stuff like the chasm and those new devices that are coming out, I think in Aussie they run the like the concussion register things as well. So there's all sorts of new technology that's coming out that's looking after our drivers, which is really cool.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's so sick to have all those little safety things. The Australian thing's so sick to have that little monitor on top of you as well, because there's no if, buts, or maybes when it comes to someone deciding if you're okay or not.
Yeah.
And there's sort of no risk in it. Like if it says that you're not good, then you're not good. But yeah, and I was gonna.
Dude, I got cleared both times. Like both concussions I had. My worst one, I got cleared, and they were like, "Yeah, you're all good." And like I was cooked for like 3 months after that, and then that massive one that I had, like they cleared me for that as well. And they were like, "Yeah, you're all good." So you're completely right, and it's not necessarily their fault. You know, they're given like this real, almost like a one-dimensional test.
Yeah.
Like I guess you've passed the test,
Yeah.
right? So it's having the actual like statistical information in front of you to be like, "I'm sorry, but you've registered this big of an impact."
Does it like measure G-forces?
Yeah, and anything over a certain thing, because ultimately it's like the best one I have heard about is like you just put like a grape in like a jar or something, right?
Yeah.
Just smack the jar and see what happens to the grape. Like, well, that's your brain, man. Like it's like if you've had X amount of G-force in the accident, your brain has had that impact. You can't argue it.
Oh, yeah, exactly right. And I think even talking about the knee thing, we destroyed a car at Cromwell just before New Year's. I think it was just before we were going to Australia. And that it was like a full-on weird kind of crash, and I sort of came in too hot to someone else. They slowed up a little bit more than I thought they would have, and then sort of got crossed on the side of them. And as they sort of went down and I went up, I caught, I don't know if it was a left rear or a right rear, and it was just like straight into the wall, like dead square, and it stove to the front of the car, and but I like got out and stood up, and I was like, damn, that hurt. Like that hurt so bad. And it was just knees just hard up against the steering box, which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing that like my knees are kind of hard up against them, but there's no like, coming to it.
Yeah,
it's like
it's already there. Yeah.
And then that's the other thing with the sprint cars and the midget, like most open wheel stuff, if that frames the thing that's taking all the impact. Like if that didn't move, that's all on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just a massive. Yeah, that sucked. And then that being like us going away, and then the title being a couple of weeks after that, and just trying to get framed down and all that sort of stuff just sucked. Yeah.
No, man, yeah. Well, as we look to wrap this one up, something we always do is just ask what's kind of new for you coming up next year. Do you have any significant plans or anything we should keep an eye out for?
Yeah, like I said before, I think it's just a matter of waiting for dates to come out and stuff like that. Equipment rise, it'll pretty much be all the same sort of stuff, all just refreshed. We're happy with all the brands that we support and all that sort of stuff when it comes to our equipment. So, we're happy for where it's leading us at the moment. So excited to get everything back together and seeing where it sort of takes us. Hopefully do a lot of traveling, a lot more meetings again as well. And then, I think hopefully some more LS1 stuff and, other classes, get back in our lookouts again a little bit more.
Yeah.
Sick. And then 21 will be a cool one. I'm looking forward to that. It's just another thing that sprint car racing needs over here, I think. So, anything that makes the sports grow over here will be huge. So, looking forward to supporting that sort of stuff.
That's cool, man. I'm glad we've had you on. You've got some, in what's been already a really short sprint car career so far. You've got some really cool stories and stuff that we've kind of unpacked today. Exceptional year this year. I'm really excited to see what happens next year and kind of see where your career goes in the next kind of 10 years, because I mean the potential's unreal. I
appreciate it a lot, and thanks for having us on, both of you. I really think it's a cool thing what you're doing for the sport, and like we were saying before with all that social stuff, it is how our sport over here in such a small country does get around to other countries, and America and Australia and stuff. Like you get Max going over to Australia and what that's done for eyes over there to what we're doing. And then, even I think I heard Tony Laporte called Joel a California Kiwi.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Yeah,
that's another cool thing. Like, you know, sort of representing us and, you know, seeing guys go over the States and go over to Australia and doing well and competing is so sick. So, yeah, it's just another cool part to have this all together and bring our sport together, which is
cool.
sick. No, I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, man.